In this unit, we're going to be studying the history of the atom, particularly the models, and its structure, such as the subatomic particles that make up your atoms and where they're located. So, your atoms are going to be your fundamental building blocks that make up all of your matter that we've been studying. So atoms of the same element are going to be the same, while atoms of different elements are going to be different. And what we're going to be looking at will be at their atomic structure, what makes them similar and what makes them different. So, your subatomic particles you should be familiar with your protons, electrons, and neutrons. They make up each of your atoms. Protons and neutrons, they're located inside the nucleus of your atom. Protons have a positive charge, where neutrons have a neutral charge or no charge at all. Your symbol for a proton, which I use quite a bit, will be a P with a plus sign. And a neutron is a lowercase n with like a zero or degree sign. Your electron is located outside of your nucleus. It is negatively charged, and its symbol is E with a negative sign. So your protons and neutrons, they are equal in mass, but your electrons are extremely tiny. Your electrons are 1/1840th the mass of a proton or a neutron. Sometimes we would round that up to 1 two thousandths of the mass of a proton or a neutron. So, if we kind of look at some of our background, we can actually go all the way back to our Greek philosophers with the atom. So, there are two theories on what matter is. Matter can be considered a continuous theory of matter or discontinuous theory of matter. So, the continuous theory of matter is basically saying you can divide that solid body in half over and over again without limits. You just keep cutting it in half again and again and again. Whereas the discontinuous theory of matter, a lot of your Greek philosophers say at some point you cannot break your particles down any smaller. At one point, they said the atom was your smallest piece of matter. It wasn't made up of protons, electrons, and neutrons. So the word atom actually comes from the Greek language, and it means indivisible. The law of conservation of mass, we're also going to be working more with in this unit. The law of conservation of mass was basically discovered with by a French philosopher Lavoisier in the 1770s. And he said that matter cannot be created or destroyed. It's basically going to change into a different form or phase of matter. So basically, your mass before a reaction must equal the mass at the end of your reaction. Also, during this time in the 1799, Proust, who was also French, came up with the law of definite proportions and basically was saying that proportions of elements in your compound, their masses are always going to be the same. So we're going to mathematically work this out later in the year with percent composition, where we look at water, H2O. We know water has the total mass of 18 grams. 2 grams, it would be made up of your hydrogen atom, and 16 grams would be made up of your oxygen atom. And that would be the same for every single water molecule out there.